In this chapter, we're going to talk about adding and managing users, roles, and permissions. Something you want to definitely understand if you're in an admin role within your business using DX1 is you're going to constantly be adding and editing users as they scale within your business both up and down. So let's take a look at some of the general functionality you'll need to know. Come up to your initials, click here. You can come down to users. You can search a user if you want by getting into the list. As I see here, I type my first name. I can see Justin's in the list. If I need to make adjustments to Justin's profile, I can come down here. I can decide anything I need to, restrict network access. Maybe I need to change the password or send a reset email to get the user reset their password. I could do those things here. And within the user role, you can see there's different permissions in terms of what they can do. If you're a multi-store, can they see the other dealerships? Do you let them have salesperson selection? Are they allowed to do returns? You can see here, we talked about in previous chapter having invoice pins for different actions such as discounts, forced sales, changing cost or MSP on parts, things like that. We also know that there's pins for discounting. So here is where you can set the discounting for the max discount. So in my case, I can discount up to 100%, but maybe you want me to do 20%, enter that there. And next time I go to discount a part over 20%, it won't let me and it'll ask for a management pin, which you can provide for that override. The next part about a user's role you want to understand is what their actual role is in the system. So as you can see here, each role has a certain set of permissions built in. If I change myself to a parts manager, you can see dynamically the permissions change by checkboxes. Now, an important thing to remember is this is just a guide to help you kind of get started is what a general parts manager might have in terms of access or roles. But by no means does that mean it's perfect, and that means you might need to calibrate. If you do need to add or remove permissions from a particular role, toggle the custom permissions tab, come down, and you can start adding in checkboxes for anything you want related to permissions. And in the permission area, you can see each section has a bold header to let you know where you're at. So accounting, custom report templates. If I come down, I can see I got customer areas, e-commerce, all the different permissions that are related. I have favorites, help, marketing, major units. So again, you can see here there's lots of options that can be configured. Lastly, I want to mention here for existing users that if you set somebody up as a service technicians, those are free billable users. And as you can see, as I kind of scroll through this list, they really do not have any permissions at all. And that's really just to make sure that they can be added to the invoices, clock in and out of jobs, and showing things like reporting. Essentially, a free user is not supposed to be using the system. If your service technician needs to do more things, have more access to the system, and you turn on custom permissions, you will be turning that user into a billable user. So please keep that in mind. Free users, the minute you set a custom permission, it will turn to billable. So that's your information around just kind of the layout of the new screen. Now, if you need to add a new user, there's a few more steps that you'll do within the process. Here, just like within DX1, if I'm making edits on certain pages or at certain times that I leave the screen, it's going to ask you if you want to save or discard changes. So you'll see that throughout DX1, and that's what I just did there. Here, now I want to go in and add a user. And here, it's not much different than the screen we just saw. You'll go in, you'll set first, last names, a short name if you'd like. You can decide which dealership or if they're available in your org. You'll assign a user IDs. You'll enter their emails for things like communications, verifications, resetting passwords. You can build a generic password. The first time they log in, it will prompt them to reset up a new password. And then you can see you have different options here as you're setting up the user. Can they do salesperson selection? Do they have organization-wide access if you're an org? Can they allow returns? Can they do discounting? All those things we just talked about. Again, here's where I could go in and set a particular role. I'm going to add in a parts manager. I can see they got certain permissions. I could toggle them on. Say I want to let them have access to different stuff. Again, I can do that here. Hit save, and then my user will be saved and in my system. And again, we just saw how you can manage it. So dealing with the basic parts of setting up users, adding them, and if you need to deactivate a user that's existing, simply uncheck the active box, hit save, and that user will be deactivated. Okay, so that's going to cover the changes that we have and the things that you need to do for dealing with adding and managing users, a little bit about roles and permissions.